Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to That's Prolific Podcast. I'm your man Lou, and I speak my truth. In today's episode, I want to talk about faith. I would like to start by defining faith. Faith is basically having confidence or trust in a thing or a person, or again, having a belief that is not based on proof. I don't know why, but at first I believed that, faith was just something that we happen to have, that we were given, that I believe that some people had faith and some people had not, you know. That's why I believed at first. After that, I realized that faith is kind of like a candle. I think it's lit from the beginning, but because there is ups and downs inside of life, there is some good times and there is some hard times, then I think that this candle can actually stop burning and just turn off. I think that faith has a lot to do with fear and trust. I think that as a child, we come to this world with faith or something really close to it or similar to it. And how faith is more or less steady until the child get socialized and until we receive a social education. And when I mean fear, I mean like, the deep feeling of fear, of concern that us adults or older person, older than a child, is able to have. That this is what I mean when I talk about fear. I'd like to take, for example, the fear of falling. A child, for example, he will do something and her parents will say that he's about to fall and he will say, hey, don't do that, you are about to hurt yourself, you're gonna fall. It's kind of like we are mentally programmed because a child itself, if you let it play, sometimes he will not even realize that he will fall and hurt himself. It doesn't. I don't think we have feel like that. I think it's really something that is given to us or something that we are taught actually. I think this is a reflection of mine, but I think that the, how faith, is getting challenged really early in our childhood, and I'd like to discuss fear again as well. Like if we take the example in some countries, people believe in Santa Claus. There is this Santa Claus tradition for Christmas. And the parents will tell kids, hey, Santa Claus is bringing you gifts. And sometimes they will say as well that, you have to behave in order to Santa Claus to bring you gifts. And I think this is where fear is implanted sometimes into the mind of a child. The faith is as well tested because at some point, in some countries as well, they believe they have this tradition of the tooth fairy, and they have this tradition of the Santa Claus as well. And at some point into the childhood, this fantasy is kind of broken because the child gets to discover one way or another that Santa Claus ain't real. This is the truth, and I think that the trust is kind of broken. Their faith is kind of challenged, and I think that in some sort of way, their mind they're confused. It confuses them. It confused their integrity. It confused their mind. It's kind of corruption. Of the mind. Your whole paradigm is broken. You used to trust this, trust that, believe in this, believe in that, and you get to realize that none of this ain't true. And I think that it really challenged faith, I would say. How to have faith? Now that's a really good question that I have myself not being able to answer. I don't think there is a specific recipe to have faith. I think that there is a lot of techniques that exists. Some people, there is different practices actually. Some people meditate, some people do yoga, some people do tai chi. There is a lot of different practices that exist around the world. Some people pray, some people use religion. There is all kind of practices, and I think it's really a personal answer that can be given to this question. So I don't think there is no perfect recipe to have faith, and I don't think that there is a perfect way to have faith either. I would like to address how to keep faith. How to stay faithful. And this is a question I've asked myself multiple times in my life. I've been in some stages of my life where I lost my faith, and I wasn't that much faithful into the process, the stages I was going in. And I would say that sometimes we have to look back on the things that we have achieved before, and realize that, hey, I've achieved all that. I've came a long way, or I've came from this far and I can make it. The situation that I'm actually facing is not much that I've faced before. As I was previously saying, there is no perfect recipe for that either, because some people like to have their favorite activity that could be art, sports, basically anything that you like. Some people like to engage in more spiritual activities, like praying, meditation, etc. But I would say that to keep our faith, kind of steady, I would say that it's good that we constantly, or when our faith is challenged, that we turn back to what we've achieved, and actually knowing that one struggle or one hard time is not the end of us. And if you realize, and if you look back what you've achieved, you will realize that you've been sometimes into so many stuffs, and it got you where you are today, and it prepared you for what you are facing. And when you done facing this hard time, then you will be even stronger. Now I would like to discuss what to do with faith. I cannot tell you what to do, but as I was taking the analogy of the candle, that I was saying that faith is like a candle and that it's lit, and I was saying as well that some people have faith and some don't, I would say that if you have faith, one of the best thing you can do is actually pass it to someone else, because our society is very tough. The word sometimes can be very tough. Life can be very tough, and passing it, will just help the people, the person that you will pass it to have light inside of their lives. One sad thing that I've noticed as well about faith, and it's specifically true on a religious standpoint, is that some people happen to have faith and they would kind of look down on other people. They will look down on people that have their faith challenged, and I think that this is not right. Faith is kind of a gift, and we should actually try more to share it, than judge people because they have it or they have not. As I was saying before, if you have faith, if your candle is lit, then please share this light with other people and lit their candle, or help them find their faith back. That's really important. That's really important. Thank you guys. That's all for today. I'm your man Lou, and I speak my truth. And remember, exploring our ideas is the fastest track to success.